Good evening, everyone, and welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I'm your host, the one and only, the often imitated, never duplicated backyard superstar Tim Vicious. And Royal Rumble review. First and foremost, first time ever on the show. We actually got a guest on here today, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, chitlins of all ages, please give it up. I always give her a shout out at the end of the show. One and only Vicky Earls, live via Skype.
Hello.
Alright, so I don't know about you, Vicky. All in all, the pay-per-view itself, Rumble, I say it was good. I give it like a 7.5, 8 at the very most. One of the best ones they've had in the past 5 months, but a lot of issues and a lot of problems with it just on the card itself. We'll get into that as we go through. First off, I know I actually made it to catch early enough to catch the pre-show. I know we were saying earlier, you said you caught the pre-show too. How'd you think on the Outlaws versus the Cody Dust match?
Glorified Raw match.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it didn't have a pay-per-view feel to it for the match. The only spots that I really liked was when Cody went airborne and when Goldust threw that power slam on Billy Gunn, because that just seemed like a really big hard-hitting bump. And, you know, I've taken a few hard ones, and when you take a hard one, that's like a coming to Jesus meeting.
Coming to Jesus meeting?
Oh yeah, I've gotten a couple of those. I've had a couple of those when I wound up getting out of line with my folks, but that's a story meant for another time.
Dear God.
Yeah, in the end, the Outlaws won, which, that's like a double-edged sword right there. It's good that they won because now it gives a new tag team in the championship division, but at the same time, it takes away because you're having to bring back a part-time tag team to invigorate and give a shot of adrenaline to all the other teams, which I'm mad over, because aside from the Outlaws, the only team I saw that was an actual threat to Cody Dust was the Real Americans.
And the Usos.
Oh, you say the Usos. I mean, we all know on how I feel on them. I shoot on them almost every other week. I'll spare them this week because, you know, don't want to get into a nasty fist fight with you because you can kick my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, so moving on, first official match of the night, not the pregame match, but the actual match was the one I'm pretty sure everyone wound up ordered the pay-per-view or watched the pay-per-view for. Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. I absolutely love the match. I wish they would give Bray more in-ring time. I don't know if they give him a lot of matches during house shows, but TV-wise, they need to give him more matches, in my opinion. How about you, Vet? You feel the same way?
Yeah, I think I said that to you before. I do feel like in the ring he needs a little tiny bit more work, and he takes too long to get into it, because when he's in the zone and when he's really like working and wrestling, he is very good. He's almost like Mankind, kind of street style. You know, he is big as well, so when he is warmed up and stuff for a bigger guy, he is quite good.
Oh yeah, and you know, and he is very mobile and very flexible for a guy his size and build. I mean, case in point, when he does that creepy spider exorcist walk, every time he does that, I just feel like I need to reach for holy water and just say, "The power of Christ compels you."
Yeah, creepy.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a good match of the year contender for sure.
Yeah, that definitely sets the bar for 2014 right there for match of the year. The two big high spots for me in that match were when Bryan ran from the apron and did the tornado DDT on Bray right onto the mat, and when Bryan went to go and do the suicide dive through the ropes, Bray somehow caught him and then hit him with a Sister Abigail right on the security barrier. And all I thought right there was, holy shit! And then the crowd started doing holy shit chants.
Good crowd. Very good crowd.
Yeah, it was. It was. I know they had Ring of Honor there that weekend also, so in which case I'm really hoping that it was because, one, it's the Rumble, and two, you had a lot of ROH fans there that really wound up making that show, the crowd what it was. You know, I really don't want it to just be like one of those kind of random flukes like, hey, the crowd just woke up one night. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, next matchup, well, even if you can technically call it a match, I say it was a squash match. It was Big Show versus Lesnar. And yeah, and I say it's just a squash match because the actual legitimate match time was maybe 2 minutes, if that. I mean, because once Lesnar got into the ring, he took Show down and then just started wailing on him, then, you know, tossing and started beating him up like, you know, basically beating him up like he was the unwanted stepchild. You know, and then just as Lesnar was about to look like he was about to take a chair to Show's head, Show decked him, and then Lesnar just had that look like something from Looney Tune cartoons, like, which way did he go? And then fell down.
Doesn't he sweat an awful amount?
In which case, yeah. In which case, I feel kind of sorry for his wife in that case. I feel really sorry for Sable if that's the case. You know, she's got to probably wear like a whole sauna suit on top of her. You know?
She gets a towel over her body when they're doing it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's got to be it. But I mean, in the end, Lesnar picked up Big Show, hit him with an F5. That was really the only big spot in the match that I was impressed with, because picking 450 plus pounds and putting it on your shoulder and tossing it around like it's nothing. I give Lesnar credit where credit's due on that, on strength wise. That's it.
Well, I agree and I don't agree. I think the pickup was impressive because Show is different weight now. He's over 5. He's just over 5, isn't he? 500?
I thought he was at 450 last I heard. He was like around the 450 mark. I mean, I know back in the day when they were feuding, like in the early 2000s, he was in the 500s. And he even did it then.
I don't know. Who knows? Next match?
Yeah, anyways, next matchup, it was Randy Orton versus John Cena. The only good part on that was the crowd, because the crowd chants made the entire match, because doing boring, this is shit, Y2J, and we want divas. Never in my life, given on how the women's division is in WWE now, did I imagine that they would ever do something like that, have a crowd chant like that go. How about you?
I think you're a bit harsh on the divas.
I'm just saying, not so much on the women themselves, it's on how they're being handled, is what it is I go out on, is what it is I lash out on, you know? But I'm just saying, because I mean, they get treated like they're Barbies and just do hair pulling, tossing each other, and then 1 or 2 actual wrestling moves, and then the match is done.
It's hard to talk about the divas. You know, I done a few articles about them and got like a ton of hate from men, so I just don't anymore. To Cena and Orton, it wasn't a great match. They weren't into it. It was disappointing. I don't really think either of them should be the heavyweight. I don't think Batista should. I really just want Daniel Bryan to have his moment, but
yeah,
I think that people should not take away the fact that Orton and Cena are fantastic athletes. You can't knock that. You know, Cena might not have more than 6 moves, but he still gives it his all.
Yeah, and I give him credit where credit's due on the fact of and you know as well as anyone else, I give him a lot of shit, whether it's on here or on Twitter. I give him a lot of shit, but I give him credit where credit's due on he's willing to walk into the ring and put his life in, literally put his life in someone else's hands. I'll give him that much credit as far as with being in the ring goes. Other than that, though, in all honesty, the big problem I got with Cena is his character is way too two-dimensional. It's way too bland, and he's been shoved down our throats for so long. It's, we need a breath of fresh air, Bring someone new that's going to be, that, stands for the same things as him, but actually seem like somebody you would see on the street.
Daniel Bryan.
What a glorious idea! I would say you could work for WWE Creative, but Vince would fire you for such a brilliant idea. Anyways, the only other part of the match that I thought was the one part of the match I thought was remotely funny was when they both did each other's different finishers. Cena did an RKO and Randy did the FU. And I still call it the FU. I don't care what anyone else says. But they did that, and all I could think is, who changed their character settings and gave them Move Thief? Like from the game. That was my big thing.
I don't play.
Oh, it's not a problem. If you ever come around stateside, I got a PlayStation. I'll show you on how to do it.
Well, I'm quite good at games like that. I can beat people in FIFA.
I've never played FIFA, so you'd have to school me on that. Anyways, back to the lecture at hand. It's now time for the event that everyone was actually excited for, the Royal Rumble. Now, I'm going to say first and foremost, the big reason on why I thought they were highlighting CM Punk being the #1 entry for the Rumble was simply because they wanted to have him win. They were going to have him win, so that way they could say Shawn Michaels and CM Punk were both #1 entries and won the Rumble. So that way they can, and not try and hide the fact, or not try and hide and bury Chris Benoit.
Yeah?
I legitimately thought that right up until the Raw before the pay-per-view when Dave came out and said, I came back for one thing and one thing only. And that's money. I mean to win the Royal Rumble. But Dave, I gotta give it to Batista because, I've been a Batista fan. I've liked him since when he first came on the scene with the Deacon Batista bit. But just coming back right out of nowhere and getting that spot handed to you right out of nowhere, that's not right and that's not fair because you got a ton of other guys in the back who have busted their ass and deserve that spot. You got guys like Kofi, Tyson Kidd, hell, they even brought Rusev from NXT up. They should have given Rusev more time or at least a few more eliminations to make him look like a legitimate steal.
I agree. Listen, I think you're taking my points from our run through.
Oh yeah. I was disappointed on that. The Rumble, there's always two pay-per-views I'm always excited for more than anything. The Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. And the Rumble, like I said, the pay-per-view itself was good. It's just that one, I was like, really? Dave's gonna win? What the hell, man? The star of the night in the Rumble, hands down, was Roman Reigns, though, just because 12 eliminations, or like 12 or 13 eliminations, I think, and just going to town on anyone that got in front of him.
Can I also say, kudos to Punk and Seth Rollins. They lasted over 40 minutes.
Yeah. In which case, also make sure you all thank Ring of Honor for them two guys. Yeah, it's just I had to make that abundantly clear. Make sure to thank Ring of Honor for entries #1 and 2. But anyways, let me ask you, was there anyone that you wanted in the Rumble that wasn't in there?
Aside from the obvious.
Yeah, aside from Daniel Bryan, because everyone wanted Bryan.
I really wondered where half of the roster were, like, the primetime players. I thought that Titus would have been brilliant, especially if he hadn't gone off against, like, Batista for a few minutes, because obviously they're friends.
Yeah, that would...
Cameron Young is the great wrestler as well. So people from the back that you do want to see, like, I know people don't care for Zack Ryder too much anymore, but it would have been nice to see him. We haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see Ryder. I mean, even if you know that a guy's not going to win the Rumble, just to see him in there, at the very least.
What about the three-man band? Where were they?
Exactly. I mean, they gave JBL and Kevin Nash filler spots. Why not just give those filler spots to Heath Slater and Jinder? Or Drew even. The chosen one. They could have given it to one of them instead. But
just wasted a few spots, like what I said to you before, like, with JBL, with Colleen,
Oh, yeah.
I do like that they brought up an NXT guy, and I said this to you before as well. I feel like I'm repeating myself. They should have brought up more. They should have brought Corey up. I know Sammy is sick at the moment, or he's out at the minute. They should have brought up Adrian Neville.
That would have all... Yeah, I would have loved that. I mean, I know they're teasing that they're bringing Emma up, having her in the crowd all the time, and they have Rusev working dark matches and house shows. So, it's just a matter of time before they get the call. But in all honesty, I mean, why not have that? Or even yet, why not do like what they did last year with the Rumble for the weekend event? Or even yet for a pre-show, have the NXT roster fight each other in a battle royal, so that way they can earn a spot into the Royal Rumble.
That's too clever for WWE.
Yeah. Oh, what am I thinking? Yeah, that's too smart. Next thing you know, I'm gonna come up with award-winning matches, and we all know Vince doesn't want that. I would have liked to have seen Wade Barrett in the Rumble. I also would have liked to have seen Jake the Snake, but obvious reasons, Jake got announced on Monday night. He's going into the Hall of Fame, so I can understand why he wasn't. And Jake, if you do ever wind up seeing this, congratulations on being in the Hall of Fame. I've been a fan of yours my whole life. You were always a huge inspiration on me on that. And now that I'm done having my little tear-jerking moment for the show,
I'm happy for him.
Yeah. A round of applause for Jake Roberts. Now, hopefully next year, all of his promos will get their own separate introduction because they're just that damn good.
That damn good. Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know about you, but I thought the Rumble, if they'd have done that, instead of having the part-timers in the Rumble and having one of the part-timers win, I would have liked if they'd have had, some actual legit guys that you thought, oh, well, maybe there is a small chance that they could,
Yeah, I've come to expect with the Rumble in the last few years that it's way more about the script than it is anything else,
Yeah, which is a shame because the Rumble was one of the milestones to help show which guy is almost ready to get over and get a main event spot. Because if you could win the Rumble or hold your own good in the Rumble and then win King of the Ring, you're almost guaranteed to be a main eventer.
True.
But hey, we grew up old school like that, where wrestlers actually had to earn their mark, instead of working for so many years, leaving, making movies in Hollywood, fighting in octagons or pentagons or whatever shapes you want, and then come back and get the main event spots. And I gotta give credit where credit's due to Mick Foley's son. To sum it up, all he basically said was, fuck you, Hunter, for giving us that kind of shit in the Rumble. it was because of guys like my dad that wound up making you a main eventer. Because if it wasn't for him, you'd be a mid-carder for life. You know, and I'm honestly, and I'm not even gonna lie, hun, if you weren't on the show right now, I'd probably be screaming at the top of my lungs, and every other word I'd be saying would be fuck. I'm being gentlemanlike because you're here.
Well, I agree with what he said, and I agree with what Foley said, but I think we should all just accept that what we're given is what we're given. We can't really influence it. Like, if you go off the last 6 months, Daniel Bryan has been he's always been a favourite, even when he was like kind of a heel, but
yeah, even when he first started with the heel, with the yes and no's when he was world heavyweight champ.
He's just, they're not going to ever listen to the universe. Now, I kind of think that they're working with all this hate and underdog story with Brian. I do think it's all work. I don't actually think, I don't know, I think something good is going to come of it. I just don't know when. And it's frustrating at the same, like, on the other side of the coin, as a huge fan, it's like, oh, for God's sake, you know, this is terrible.
Yeah.
You know, this guy is he was on the news over here. In the UK,
he was
on BBC News.
I didn't know that.
He was on the news, he was in newspapers, he was on UK websites, like gossip websites, normal websites. He was all over the internet and newspapers.
Wow.
And that's over here. Like,
now that just shows that you're legitimately over, and I've credited the UK crowds as being one of the best out there in the world. Hands down. Well, yeah, I know, but you guys are still, you know what I mean.
We're not one.
Well, no. No, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Let's not start an international incident now. Okay, I'm stepping away now on that. But anyways, yeah, you know, I fully agree. You know, I would like to see guys like Bryan, Tyson Kidd, CM Punk actually earn legitimate spots on the card. You know? And it's just a damn shame because it looks like Vince is now starting to take his ideas on how to run the company from Eric Bischoff and Ted Turner. You know, because it looks like we're seeing WWE WCW.
What about Arn Anderson? Isn't he the guy who books
I don't know if he's one of the bookers or not. I don't know. I think he might be a producer. Huh. Well, hopefully, as long as Kevin Nash isn't a booker again, we're good. But anyways, you got any shout-outs that you want to do?
No. Just to all my Twitterers and anyone who commented on my video or mentioned in my own video, you know, hello.
Alright, so what's your YouTube channel?
If you look up, I'll just link it. I'll send you a link for it because I need to change the name.
Alright. Well, folks, that's all the time for this episode. So, like on normal, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch all the other episodes. Look for me on Twitter at TimVicious. Make sure you look for my backup account, Tim_Vicious, because I get put in Twitter jail every now and again. Make sure y'all check out all these cool-ass cats right here on Twitter. My brother from another mother, James Belmont, JX2001, that Roxy girl, the lovely Vicky Earls herself, _it's V-Bitch, James, Roxy, and Vicky all got their own YouTube pages. Make sure y'all check them out. I am Danny Sunday, Mucky Mars, Helen Robinson 82, Axel Mulligan. Make sure y'all check out Axel's blogs on Raw, NXT, SmackDown pay-per-views. Hell of an educated fan. And Axel, hopefully we can wind up setting something up and you come on sometime soon. Make sure you also check out the podcast, The Sunday Sage, with Kenny and Shug, Sinfully Sabrina, Cranky Asshole, Legion Lady Aaron, The Vampire Ninja Olive Ben, and Just a Stupid Mark. Make sure y'all check out Ollie's and Masked Mark's TNA Turnaround. It just came out today. Their newest episode came out today. I am, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me, fuck yous.